What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am DL here with a classic movie review, and we got a big franchise to get into. We're going to be talking about the Alien films. Alien Romulus is going to be out in theaters in August, so we're going to go back and talk about all the Alien films. That's right, we're going to be talking about all of them. How many are there? There's like six of them if you're not counting the Alien versus Predator films. I'm not going to be talking about the Alien versus Predator movies. I could talk about that at another time if people are really interested to hear my thoughts on the Alien versus Predator films. And I'm not going to talk about the Predator movies either. I'll actually review the Predator films at a later date, but we're mainly just going to be focusing on the Alien films for right now. So that's how it's going to go down. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the original Alien, directed by Ridley Scott, that came out in 1979. All right, so if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know I love me some sci-fi and I love me some horror. And whenever you mix sci-fi and horror together, I will be a kid on Christmas morning. So when it came to the Alien franchise, I was a little bit late to the party. I didn't actually start getting into the Alien films till I was like almost getting out of middle school, maybe getting into high school. So yeah, and obviously I didn't grow up with them because I wasn't born in the 70s or 80s. Um, but I know, of course, I've heard about the Alien films in the pop culture and stuff like that. So I was aware of it, but it did take me a while to actually sit down and watch these movies. When it came to the original Alien film, um, I was very excited to watch it because I've heard so many great things about it. And I watched some old trailers to it, and it looked really, really creepy. It looked very atmospheric. And I love me some Sigourney Weaver. I think she's great. Um, so yeah, I was definitely excited to see this. And then at the time, I was a Ridley Scott fan. Nowadays, it's a different story, but back then, I thought Ridley Scott could do no wrong. So Ridley Scott doing an Alien film, let's see what he does. And I'll admit, the first time I watched the original Alien, I I didn't love it. I didn't. For me, I thought, I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was a good movie, but I personally, at the time, I wasn't appreciating how slow it was. Because a lot of, of course, with today, the films, especially blockbuster films, feel like they have to be at this really quick pace. They have to grab the audience attention real quickly, and they don't let scenes breathe or let scenes build, have the slow burns. It seems to be starting to become a lost art form nowadays when it comes to making films. But at the time, me being the naive kid I was like, I wish it was going a little bit faster. And also, I was kind of poking fun at some of the dated stuff in the movie. This did come out in 1979, and there was some costume work and there was some editing here and there that I wasn't loving at the time. But I still thought it was good. I personally enjoyed the next film that came out after this a little bit more, but we'll get to that at a later date. But yeah, I appreciated Aliens more because it was more of an action film, at the time I wasn't fully appreciating what they were doing with the first Alien film, but rewatching it now as an adult, I gotta say that I love this film. I thought it was absolutely great. Um, and now, now really starting to appreciate slow burns when it's done properly, because, I have complained in the past about how movies are unnecessarily long and it's like, the pacing does feel like it could be a little bit faster in certain films but back then, I think Ridley Scott knew just the right amount to put in this. This movie is so well directed. Back when Ridley Scott actually gave a shit. Um, but just like everything in this film, like just works so well, and it's like this movie actually holds up pretty well too. Um, One of the things I love about this movie is the tension, is the suspense, it's the atmosphere. All of that is just so masterfully done. Ridley Scott was such attention to detail when it came to this movie, as far as the cinematography, as far as the camera work, all of that. Just like, as I said, just building atmosphere. Like I feel like I'm in this world. It's like it's huge, it's massive, it's kind of creepy. It has this eerie vibe. The color palette is like, just darkness, but at the same time it's vibrant. It's like he was able to mix that really really well. um and what blew me away the most is the practical. Everything's practical as far as like the set and the environments and the spaceships. Like everything was actually crafted and made, and it was physically there. Like this is stuff we don't really see in movies anymore, as far as them putting this much detail to make a set, to make like to have just like practical effects, practical lighting, practical equipment, like actually having physical landscape for, when they go on planets, the spaceships, they actually use models. It's like, yeah, they actually filmed models to make it look like they're spaceships in space. It's just, we don't use models anymore that much. And it's just seeing how beautiful it all is. It adds to that tangibilization that I love to see in films. That like you feel like you can touch it. You feel like you can actually be on a ship. You could actually like touch the equipment, actually be in the hallways and like the just the interiors and everything. I just love that they built all of that. It actually adds more to the world that Ridley Scott is trying to create. But yeah, as far as the premise with aliens, like, we've seen so many different types of alien films, you know, and I feel like with this really like, paved the way and broke ground when it comes to sci-fi and horror as well. Be like, I would consider this movie to be one of the best horror films ever made. Because yeah, it is a science fiction film, but as far as like, you know, the horror elements are definitely there. You know, um, just in which goes back to why I love how much of a slow burn it was, and like they were building up to the reveal of the alien in this, and the jump scares are very effective, and just the design of the alien, the design of the alien in this, like at the time, it was something you've never seen before. It looks so unique. It like I love the design of the xenomorph. Like the long head. It has no eyes. It has two mouths. Like when it opens its one mouth, like a little mouth comes in and it kills them, like that. And just it has a long skeleton-like tail. It has long legs, long arms. That design of the alien looks so good. And that's actually somebody in a suit. It's actually like somebody actually created a suit for someone to be in there and actually like play out the alien. And it, for the most part, I bought it. you know of course. And now, I did say earlier that there were some cheesy things here and there, and while I do love the suit and I love the design of the alien, with them actually having somebody in a suit, there were a couple of scenes where I it did look kind of hokey. Like, when there's of course that one scene where like it looks like he's putting out jazz hands when he's about to when he's creeping up on that one guy in the hallway, whatever. And the ladies, like, one of the crew members was tracking it on the radar or whatever, and then like he jumps out with his hands out in the air. Like, I've seen that parodied a couple of times, like, hello my baby, hello my honey. But the way it's directed in the scene, though, I still thought was pretty effective, as far as like you don't know where this alien is coming from. You don't know where it's going to be. It's like it's able to be so silent to just creep on anybody at any moment, even though it's a giant alien. Like you would think something like that would be very clunky. You would hear its footsteps or nothing. Like no, it's like climbing up on walls and sliding in between like corridors and stuff like that. Like that is insane. And just like the overall how we got to them getting the alien on the ship is even creative as well, where we follow these 7 crew members that are um, gathering minerals from planets. That's their job. They're harvesters. I think harvesters. I'm harvesters. That's the right word. And they receive this distress call from a planet, and this planet holds some really creepy aliens that no one has ever seen before. And once again, this is something that they probably shouldn't even be like addressing because they're just harvesters. Like this is not they're not marines. They're not like combative like space crew. They're just honestly they're miners. So like for them to even take this distress call, like even that helps to build the tension because they're not the best equipped to handle whatever the distress call is. And then they go onto this planet where they see a bunch of creepy alien eggs. And then the introduction of the face hugger. The face hugger, man, like I love the design of it. I love like what it does. It's like Lily grasps onto somebody's head and impregnates them with an alien egg, and then the alien Lily bursts out of somebody's chest, and then the alien just grows to adult size. Like that type of stuff. Like once again, it's so innovative. Like it's like you've never seen something like this before, as far as concepts for like aliens, and it's just so cool. It's so freaking cool. And it's disgusting. It's creepy. It's scary. Like just the overall idea of like a freaking skeleton octopus thing grasping onto your face, putting a baby inside you, and then the baby bursts out of the chest. That is horrifying. Like I just love the creativity with this. And it's like when you first see the chest bursting scene, like because you don't nobody knows what's gonna happen. Like we know the face hugger did something to Sir John Hurt, but we didn't know exactly what the alien did, and you're just waiting to see what's going to happen to him next. And then nobody expected this alien to just burst out of this man's chest, and it's just this little practical baby alien xenomorph. I love that the baby's practical too. It like I just love everything is real, like puppetry and all that. Like it just makes it more terrifying to know that something is actually there, that the actors are actually acting off of something that's actually there. And it's like it's so good. It's so good. As far as the cast, um for the most part it's pretty solid as a whole. There's only like 2 or 3 of the characters in here that I really invested in. The other characters, like they served a purpose, but like they ended up being just cannon fodder, which is fine, you know. Um, but of course, we got to talk about Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley. Absolutely great, loved her, and she will end up being one of the best female protagonists in the film. One of my favorite female protagonists in the film. Um, and it's even more. I even feel even more so when we get to Aliens. But I thought she was great. And for certain people that like grew up seeing this movie in the theaters, a lot of people didn't expect for Sigourney Weaver to actually end up being like the main the main lead that we would care about in this. Because I hear at the time that Tom Skerritt, who plays Dallas, it seemed like he was going to be the main protagonist of this because obviously he's the captain, and I think at the time he was the more well-known actor. And of course you have John Hurt in there as well, Sir John Hurt, which so I just like that. in this movie, Ripley, this is, her calling to action, her actually taking charge because her crewmates aren't doing what's necessary to keep them alive and protect them from whatever this threat the alien is. That's one of the reasons why I love Ripley is because she's so smart. She's not a damsel in distress. She doesn't feel like she's underqualified to do whatever she's doing. And even when she's put into situations where she's not qualified to do anything, she gets into action and does what she can. She makes the smart moves. She calls people out when they're not doing their job, but she doesn't come off unlikable. She doesn't come off like unreasonable because like every decision that she makes in this, like it makes sense that she decides to do what she does, and just like because all the other, like I said, all the other crewmates aren't like taking the precautions necessary to help to protect them from whatever the threat the alien is. And then when she actually has to get into confrontations with the aliens in the movie, she kicks ass. Like I was really impressed by Ripley in this. I think she's very great. Um, John Hurt, I thought he was good. Um, Once again, he's mainly there for the shock factor of the face hugger, which is completely fine. But as far as his performance wise, I thought he was pretty good. I don't think there's ever been a bad performance from John Hurt. Like I know people are about to say Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Like I look, he served his purpose there too. But John Hurt, I thought it was pretty good in this. Tom Circuit as Dallas, I thought he was solid. Um, Ian Holm as Ash. Now he was a definite surprise too because nobody thought that he was going to end up being an android. Um, and I guess if you're watching it today and like you are studying his mannerisms and stuff like that and how he speaks, then you would probably put two and two together that he probably is like something's off with him. Whether like he actually wants to take the alien and have his own like personal, he has his own personal motivations with that, or it's like something else may be off. But like the way they revealed that he was an android, that really shocked me. I thought it was very well done how they did that, and once again, the practical effects in this are so good. Like the Lily with when we had the scene where Ash is attacking Ripley, and then the other crewmates come in and try to save her, and then they behead Ash, and like the android fluids coming out, and he's just a severed head on the floor, and Ian Holm is still talking through the severed head, and it's like that's crazy. It looks so real. It looks it looks so real. I am so blown away by how good the effects are. I can't emphasize that enough. It's so good. Um, but yeah, man. As far as the rest of the crew, like Lambert and Parker and all that, Brett, I thought I thought they were pretty solid. They didn't have as much development as obviously as Ripley and Dallas and Kane and Ash, but they served their purpose. Though there were a few moments where I thought they were making some dumb decisions. Like for instance, I wouldn't even let I wouldn't even let Kane into the ship after the facehugger's on him because you don't know what type of like contagious stuff you can get from that alien. You don't know what the alien is doing to Kane. I honestly, the smart thing would have been just to leave him on that planet. Like, I'm sorry, like he was gonna die anyway, so it's like you don't want to endanger the rest of your crew by bringing whatever this thing is in here. So, and then like Ripley calls them out on that. Like she says, "Don't bring that thing in here." We have to leave him on this planet, and they, you know, Ash lets them in anyway. So that was insane. Um, yeah, and then Parker, who's the only black guy in this movie. I'm glad he wasn't the first one to go, but he was. I will be honest, he was a little bit annoying in here. Like he was probably the most insubordinate of all of them. But he does end up helping as much as he can. By the time the xenomorph comes in and starts um, taking them out one by one. But yeah, so as I said, as I said, there's some dim-witted stuff about that, and I will say there was a couple of jump scares here and there that didn't scare me as much. Just a couple. The as far as like the tension and the the creepiness and the the suspense, it's still there, but there is still there's some dated things here and there that I don't feel quite hold up as well. But give it the benefit of the doubt because it's 1979, and on top of the fact everything else just works so good in this movie, I can overlook a couple of practical things and a couple of edits that didn't hold up very well. And once again, the cat. I'm sorry, just let the cat die. I don't know why this cat is in here. Like, why did they even bring a cat in space? Like, I don't get it. I guess they need some sort of like therapy pet or whatever. But I don't know why you're bringing the cat to a space mission for years and years. But I digress. Overall, I love this movie. I think it's absolutely great. One of the best sci-fi horror films of all time. Ridley Scott's. This is one of Ridley Scott's best films. I thought Sigourney Weaver as Ripley. I thought she was great, and she's on her way to becoming one of the best female protagonists in film. I thought Sir John Hurt was pretty good. I thought Tom Circuit was pretty good as well. The rest of the crew was pretty solid. If you just have to overlook some of the dim-witted stuff with as far as letting the alien into the ship and being insubordinate, so that's stuff you got to overlook. The practical design of the xenomorph, one of the most unique alien designs I've ever seen in a film, and just the way they're able to direct that alien to be so creepy and able to sneak around the ship and like just kill each person one by one. You don't know where it's going to come from. That's really done really well. The cinematography, the sets, the actual practical props and practical alien costumes and all of that, the miniatures, all of that was beautifully done. I love seeing practical stuff like that. I wish Hollywood would do more of that. Yeah, it just adds to the fact of how real this movie looks. And yeah, I just thought that as a movie by itself, I think it works very well on its own, as a standalone, film. And it also, but at the same time, it does leave the door open to explore more things. Like if we possibly get another alien attack, or we learn more about their species and we follow their crew. It does leave that open at the end, but at the same time, if this was the only alien film, it works very well on its own. So I will give Alien an A minus. It's a great film. If you haven't seen the original Alien, if you love sci-fi horror, you need to see this. It's excellent. But those are my thoughts on Alien. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. So the next film I will be talking about is James Cameron's Aliens. So tune in for that when it comes out. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Alien fans, and I will catch you guys next time. Talk to you guys later, and remember, in space, no one can hear you scream.